welcome to the Pied Wagtail podcast. Today I have Chris with me. Hi, Chris.
Hello, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Chris Harrison. I'm a hypnotist and therapist and coach, and that's what I do. Use hypnosis to help people change their life. I specialise in depression, anxiety control, PTSD removal, and I build confidence. I also remove allergies, food intolerances, and phobias.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
And thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, no, thanks for agreeing to come on. I'm really excited for this conversation. We've had one chat before, haven't we, where we learned about what you do. So it's really great to have you on. So we'll kick off. Can you tell us what your own definition is of wellness and resilience, or either or?
I think as far as wellness goes, just waking up every morning and being happy. That's, I think, the goal, and that, changes person to person. My old job, I used to deliver bedroom furniture around the country, and I've been to some of the most richest people you'll ever see, and they're all miserable. And if that's what a lot of money does for you, you can keep it, basically. But and I've seen people that have got, haven't got two pennies to rub together yet happy because I do what I love doing and just get up every morning and really enjoy what I do. And that's what I think, happiness is getting up every morning, being happy. That's the main goal. And then resilience is when, crap hits the fan and whatever, that you can push through that, people, and then do the right steps to help with that when it gets too much and things like that. So I think you need to have that sort of resilience there.
Yeah, thank you. So it sounds like in your definition of wellness, like work and what you do really probably has a lot to do with it, would you say?
Yeah, I think so in this day and age. We need money to survive, unfortunately. That's our way of living. My whole how I describe what I do and stuff is based on the brain still being as we was when we was hunter-gatherers. It's just adopted modern day issues to be the same sort of, anxiety causing, depression causing, and things like that. And they don't really need to be. A bank statement or a bill coming through a letterbox isn't the same as a bear coming to, eat you. But the brain sees it as the same sort of thing. So, but we don't go out now and hunt our own food and gather our own food. We just get down the shop and buy it. The more money we've got, the more food we can buy, the easier our life is, in theory. So I suppose, in this day and age, to have that happiness is what you do for a living, because that's what we do most of the hours of the day for our lives.
Yeah.
Again, unfortunately.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time at work. It is important. So could you tell our listeners a little bit about your own journey towards wellness and resilience?
Yeah, well, it started, I guess, back in 2014. My dad had started off with lung cancer. That was 2012 when he was diagnosed, and I was working in a factory at that point. And then I always wanted to be a driver ever since. Even before I could drive, I knew I wanted to be a lorry driver or a driver of some sort. Dad had cancer, and in 2014 January we brought him home from the hospital because he was going to die. So we got the bed set up in the living room and things like that, and he came home and he was already past the point of no return then, and we sat there for 15 hours watching him struggle to breathe, struggle to, and you just think, just go, and there's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. But that was the thing. He had an old type of morphine drip which had a button on it, and it, I must have been on a timer or something, so it was just going through the night sort of thing. The next morning when he died, the nurse came and she checked it, and more had gone out than what was expected. And I remember, well, again, we might go into this later, I remember her saying, looking at it and going, oh, he must have knocked it with his hands or something. But that triggered something in my mind, because all night I was wanting to help him and end his misery and stuff like that, and I didn't do it. Well, that triggered something in my mind then of, well, I could have done it, and I didn't. And then from then on to 2020, every day I had that image, that thought, that them words just going constantly, and that triggered PTSD. And but what happens with PTSD is it's not just one issue. It actually started when my granddad had dementia when I was about 18, and all that builds up until the one trauma tips you over and your brain blames that one issue. So I had that every single day then, and I ran my business. I started my light haulage company, and had all the stresses and strains of that and everything. And I tell my clients to imagine they've got a stress bucket in their head, and all the crap of life goes in the bucket, and eventually it'll overflow. Come 2020, I know it was a hard year for everybody, what with lockdown and stuff like that. But my brother-in-law killed himself. My uncle died suddenly. My marriage broke up. Just loads of things happened, but I was past the point of caring. I was deep in depression. I was having these thoughts every single day, and I just didn't want to be here anymore. Come to December time of 2020, I decided that was it. I was going to have the last Christmas with my family. I was going to go back to work on January, and I was going to stick the van under the trailer of a lorry and be done with it all. And come to that decision, that was what I was going to do. Just so happened to have a conversation with my auntie again. Didn't tell anybody about it because I was manning up and sorting everything out as you do. I was dealing with nothing. Just happened to say to my auntie, I'm just miserable all the time, and all this. And she just says, well, I went to a hypnotherapist a few years back, said he worked wonders. Now, up until that point, I was all science, if it's not scientific, it's crap, blah, 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 blah. To this day, I don't know why I rang him. But as soon as I found him and spoke to him, and he understood me, I just felt a connection with him. I went for one session. I booked for 4 sessions because we were selling them in packages. First session, I just remember opening my eyes, and then I could think about this image that made me angry, that made me upset for years and years, and it had no emotion there. It was literally just an image, like in my head now. And I was sat there just staring at the floor for what must have been maybe 30 seconds, but it felt like an hour, just staring there. And I just looked at him and I went, what have you done? Like there was just nothing there linked to that thing anymore. I had another couple of sessions with him. He built my confidence up and whatever, and I was literally back to how I was when I was 20, 21, but a better version of me then. I had all my confidence back. I had so this image now just didn't hurt me to think about. I could stop it, start it, rewind it, whatever. I got full control of it. I just knew that's what I had to do. So the worst part of my life ended up being the best part, because that then made me what I am today. And I love helping people do the same.
They often say that, don't they, that the growth you get from going through a trauma is worthwhile if you can just persevere and get through it.
I think when you've been to that point where you make that decision in your head that you're going to end it all, and it's a clear decision. I mean, I've done other things that called non-direct suicide. So I'd walk around town in the middle of the night, and I'd wear my rings and my watch and stuff, hoping somebody had mugged me, and I'd got this thing of being, they'd stab me and end it there for me and stuff like that. Proper. and it sounds irrational now, it sounds illogical, but then it was what I wanted to happen. I would go out looking for that. I'd never start trouble with somebody, but if they were to come and, you know, that would be great. Because your brain doesn't think logically when you're in that state of mind. So, but yeah, being at that point in my life, like rock bottom, and then just turning it around like that, like I'm training to do this and whatever else. And it's been, you know, a difficult task to do, but now I've got goals where I know where I want to be, and it's great to have something to work to and push myself and be this new person that I am now. Yeah. Not only that, but help other people along the way.
That must have been incredibly difficult. Can I ask you, because I think there's a little bit of a difference with men, isn't it? Men find it really difficult to open up or to have a conversation. How was it for you to sort of say to your auntie at that time that...
Well, again, I never had the conversation about what was going on. I just said I'm miserable. But I don't know if you've ever seen the Royal Family with you know, Jim Barber and everyone used to say I was Jim Royal, because I just moan all the time, or Victor Meldrew, you know, I just moan all the time and just be, and that's sort of how I was. But I could pass it off as sort of funny, like they did, you know. So sometimes I'd really vent some venomous stuff out, but I'd do it in a way that was sarcastically funny. So then people who know me laughed and stuff like that, which then made me feel good because I was making people laugh, and that's what I like doing. But obviously it's not getting me what I needed. That was how I was dealing with things. I was laughing it away. I was just, you know, pushing it to one side and saying, but yeah, it was, but yeah, men tend to close up, don't they, because of this whole, that's what men should do, which I believe is caused by the media, movies, that sort of thing. Because I always say to people, you know, I remember as a kid, I used to watch John Wayne movies with my granddad. That's who I modelled myself on, you know. So there's this tough guy that was, you know, he could do anything, it wouldn't bother him. Stuff like that, you know, you watch all these old war movies, that's how a man should be. So that's what I was following. But it's wrong. Because if people actually look at the real events, you know, any battles, any thing where somebody's done something brave and stuff like that, it always involves other people. When going back to when we were hunter-gatherers, nobody would go out hunting on their own. They'd go out with a group of people, even the tribes of today, and they still go out in a group of people. You know, nothing's done on your own. And when we get depression, anxiety and stuff like that, we need help off other people. We don't have that community anymore. We don't have that tribe sort of life anymore where we can just all talk to each other and we can all help each other. It's just us. And if people around us don't understand what we're going through because we don't understand ourselves, it's hard. And it's hard to talk. But, and again, how I work, I don't actually talk about the problem because we don't need to. All we need to do is acknowledge we have a problem. And then I can help them. I do using imagery, imagination, and stuff like that. Because that's how the brain works, in pictures, colours, and algorithms. It doesn't work in words.
So we will get onto your work a bit later because it's really interesting. But I wanted to ask you, obviously hypnosis, you went to, it really worked for you and it cleared everything. So did you work just on that one image or did you work on the other traumas and difficulties you'd had?
No, it was, again, with hypnosis, whatever you want to sort out, you can sort out. If you know what it is, that's what you do. If or things can come up that you've pushed to the back of your mind that you haven't thought about for 10, 20 years, whatever, or more. It's just can come up, whatever it is. When I had all that done, I knew I was, you know, I was okay, I was fine, off I went. But I always felt there was something sort of left in there. I couldn't quite dig out what it was. Obviously training, then I was with other hypnotists and they'd all practice on me and I'd always feel better after, but I always felt there was still that little thing that was in there. And like I said, mentioned before, it's a layer of traumas. And I was at a course in Bristol, and this one woman, she weren't full of confidence in what she was doing, but I was practicing with her, and she could do it fine. She had all the paperwork out and stuff like this, because she was all like, oh, what do I do now? What do I do now? And all that. Anyway, I'd had this done to me multiple times in the week. I was all practicing, and but nothing seemed, and I thought I was fine. Everything was good. I don't know what she did. I mean, we were putting the good stuff in, because you always then build up the confidence and stuff after, and put happiness in and stuff like that. And she says, go back to a time when you was happy and visualise it. Well, I was sat in my gran and granddad's living room watching the westerns with my granddad, and I was there. I could visualise it. I could even smell the fag smoke, because my gran and granddad used to smell like chimneys. And all of a sudden, just this flash of evil emotion and things just shot through my mind. And I opened my eyes. She thought we were done, and I was like, I don't know what you've just shook up there, but you've got to get rid of it. And she went in a bit of a panic, and I went, no, it's calm now. We did some other techniques. I said, just do something like that. So we do, for anxiety, we do this thing where you calm people down, like using their eyes, so you get them to focus on your finger. Takes the mind off what you're anxious about, and then the words you say during it helps you calm down. I couldn't physically say the word, the emotion that I could feel. I couldn't say it. There was a pen next to me, so I wrote it on my hand. I think it was shame or something like that. I went back as she got it so I could talk. It was from when my granddad first had dementia. And I'm not like a carer kind of person, but my mum is. My mum did everything. She went to work, she'd come back, she'd care for my granddad and all that. I didn't do anything because I didn't want to. I was running away from it. I held that guilt, that shame for doing that as well. That was the beginning, and then that was taken away. That was it. It was like the whole pyramid, tower, whatever you want to call it, of the traumas that had happened from when I was 18 up to 24 had just been done, taken away. Now it's completely I say now I can talk about it, I can think about it, and I use it as my story to help people that you can get through that sort of thing. So.
Did you try anything else to kind of manage your wellness, or was it hypnosis straight away?
I was working for a terrible company at the time that just did not care about their workers. Eventually I went and told the manager I was struggling. She put me in contact with a email counselling service. What a load of crap that was.
Right.
Well, I figured out it was automated, so I spent most of my time just trying to make it stumble. So I was just asking stupid questions and stuff on it because it was just ridiculous. As you can imagine, I ditched that, but apart from that, nothing. And again, like I said, to this day, I don't know why I found the hypnotherapist, because other people had said before, oh, you're miserable, you want to get the doctors, or you want to go on tablets and stuff like that. But I never went anywhere, because in my head I was dealing with stuff, lying to myself basically. And then I just found him, and that was that. But yeah, up until that point, I'd never really did anything else now.
And I'm just interested, if it's okay, that lady that you were just talking about, the story that you brought the shame out of, it's interesting that you said there that she kind of put something into your head. And
yeah,
can you explain?
So when you take the bad stuff out, the negative stuff out, you're sort of left with gaps, if you want. You can't leave them with gaps and voids. You have to put stuff in. So you replace, I don't know, depression with confidence, or happiness. You replace shame with something else. Okay. And you get them to visualise the mind, their body with these gaps, and these new things fill in the gaps in, because again, it's all about visualisation. And then you build it up and build it up. The more confident you feel, the happier you feel, the more confident you feel. And you get them to really feel it using suggestion and that sort of thing. But you never just take something away and leave them with nothing good to go in, for them to focus on after. You need that to be replaced, because it can happen that quick. The brain does think, well, hang on, like an hour ago I felt like this, now I'm on top of the world, what's going on? You know, and it sort of has a fight with itself. So you can feel a bit weird, but once it's got all that good stuff focused on, because I work with a subconscious mind, because you know that's what it feels, and that's what will win over after it's had that little tiff of itself.
Yeah. Tell everybody a little bit about your business, and and a little bit about how you work within your business.
I'm a hypnotist, so I don't go with all this clinical hypnotherapy rubbish. When I originally trained, I made a mistake, and luckily found it was a mistake quite early on, so I changed where I was training. A lot of people, again, this might annoy people, but sorry, they're script based, where they just read a script out to you. Now, if you go to a hypnotherapist and they pull a script out, ask for your money back, go home, because you can't work with a person if you're just reading a generic script. They're great for YouTube videos or an audio that you can give to people, you know, but that's what it is. I work with a person, I don't know what a session is about until the first time I bring them out of hypnosis. I've had people that have said to me, oh, I just want to sleep better. It's got nothing to do with sleep. I put them in, brought them back out. What's come up? I started crying. Now I've got to do a whole grief removal, because it's that's been playing on in their mind. They're just sort of not focused on it because they want to push it away because it hurts them. But the thing is, the symptom is no sleep. I can't sleep. Take that away. Take the emotion away linked to that, because that's in the past. There's no point feeling bad about that anymore. They can sleep better. People only come to me with symptoms. Depression is a symptom. The issue is never the issue. Like mainly when I deal with weight loss or whatever else, you know, it's nothing to do with weight most of the time. It's confidence, or it's usually confident.
So how do you discover what the issue actually is?
Oh well, no, it'll come up.
Okay.
Oh, and I'll put people in. I do what's called emotional detox when they're in, and again, it's about the person, so I don't tell them what to do. I don't hardly talk in my sessions. I'll say to them, I'll put them into hypnosis, and I'll say to them, go to a magical, mystical place, a place that makes you happy, a place you can make positive life changes. That can be whatever it is, a holiday resort, on top of a mountain, a car. But that's for them, because whatever's going on in their mind is up to them, and it's their issue. It's not my issue. I'm not going to make it my issue. I don't need to know. People don't have to tell me anything. When I bring them out, if I see that they're, like when I said I couldn't say what that word was, I'll say, okay, then what colour is it? Because it doesn't matter what the word is. We can label this thing. They'll say blue. What part of your body is it in my head? And we just use visualization of maybe moving it, whether it be I reach in, grab it, and I pull it out. But if they picture it, the brain thinks it's happening, because the brain can't tell the difference between thought and reality. And obviously I like to do a lot of theatrics. I like to add, because I like doing performance hypnosis as well, so I add that and give somebody an experience and make it, you know, I like to make them feel like they've been to something different, that they've had something powerful happen to them, because they have. So yeah, that's how I like to do that sort of thing. And so until the first time I'll bring them out, we don't know what the issue is, or maybe the second time it'll come out. You can see it coming up, or if they're sort of resisting something, then they have to get the resistance down, but it'll come up eventually. Sometimes they don't even know. I'll just start crying, and I'll be like, what's that for? Oh yeah, what's that? Is it a feeling? Is it an emotion? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll just go, okay, well, we'll just push it up, feel it coming out the top of your head now. And I'll visualise it coming up and feel it as it comes up at the top of the head.
So if people don't know what the issue is, you can still remove the...
Yeah. So that's why I did a couple of videos of a PTSD removal. And I says to her, when you come out, whatever you feel, just give it a random word. Apple, banana, blue, whatever, because I don't need to know. Words are for other people, not for us. You could be on a desert island for 50 years, you wouldn't need to talk, yet you'd build a shelter, do whatever it is you was going to do, without the use of words.
So if people that have kind of like a deep inner depression, and perhaps they find, the example you used earlier, like go back to a time where you felt really happy. If someone perhaps is feeling so deep that they can't imagine a time they were happy, or can't imagine it, is that a barrier?
I'll change it then. Tell them, get them to think of the future.
Okay.
Because again, it would be, if they have had depression for that long, and I get it, I'll say to them, what's been good? Something like that, and they'll go, nothing, they're doing. And okay, so if you wasn't feeling like this, how would you want to feel? Eventually, the brain will have to visualize themselves doing what they want to do in that way. So if they're visualizing themselves doing something better and happier, they have to feel it then. And then you see them sort of pick up. Sometimes it's a bit of a struggle to get them to get there if they're really, really deep, but I'll get there. And then we do. But in hypnosis, it's easier because it is all visualization. It is all, go to your happy place, wherever that is. It could be the bed, the back there, lying there, duvet on, whatever, sitting in front of the telly. So like that one, that was mine. There was a bar in Spain that was my dad's favourite. That's what happened. I was sat at that bar, and again could see it, full detail and everything. Sea was in front of me, the beach. I sat at this bar. My dad sat next to me and just said, "Let it go. There's nothing you could have done. Forget about it." No, right now that was just in my head because I'm not a spiritual person. I don't believe in ghosts and things like that. But the weight just went because I heard that off my dad. That's what people do. And when I do these sessions with people with grief, when they're ready, I can sit them there in their mind, and they can tell the person that's gone something they want to tell them, or hear what they want to hear. And they can have that experience. If they want to believe that's their actual spirit, they're fair enough, crack on. To me, I knew in my head it was just an image in my mind. Well, I said the brain can't tell the difference between thought and reality. As far as the brain is concerned, I was sat there in that bar with my dad having a conversation. Same as when you dream sometimes and people come up and you talk to them, it's like that. It's the same sort of thing.
It's interesting because I think when we last spoke, I told you about my experience, because I've got a real interest in hypnosis actually. And I thought hypnosis was a thing that was going to help me a few years back. It was something I was experiencing, and I went and I think I had 6 sessions in the end actually, and no change, like literally no change. And this guy was like, "I can fix you," and I don't know. I just wonder if because this is a success rate is fairly high. So I'm just wondering what could have gone wrong for me not to have been fixed, if you like.
Fortunately, there is a lot of crap out there because it's not really like regulated sort of thing. So there's nothing stopping me, as far as I'm aware now. I've been doing this a year. There's nothing stopping me now opening my own school up and teaching people what to do, and making my living doing that. Unfortunately, that's what people do. They're failed hypnotherapists, they're failed hypnotists, they haven't got a clue what they're doing. They just get this script out, give it to people and say, do this. And that's what my first course was. It was that. I've come to realise that the person training had never done proper hypnosis in his life. He'd just done this script crap. £3,000 off everybody. There was about 10, 12 people in my class, I think. And there was new classes and old classes. He was making some blooming good money. And I can't take it away from him. He was a brilliant businessman, brilliant marketeer. But he wasn't a blooming hypnotherapist. And unfortunately, the people that did qualify have gone out now and they've got no confidence in what they do. And people are coming to them for help. You know, people are coming to them at their lowest point in their life and just getting read a script to them, you know, and they're paying this money. So again, it just depends on the therapist. I haven't got a 100% success rate, and I don't want a 100% success rate. If a hypnotherapist got a 100% success rate, they ain't seen enough people, you know. But there's things then that you learn from them. Then you learn from your failures, and that people always change. But the thing, so I don't do quit smoking sessions because the people that do it, they just want me to do everything for them. What they fail to realise is when they leave me, they need to change things in their life that, you know, why they were smoking. People that come to me for weight management sessions, I can give them all the positive mental stuff, all the motivation in the world. If they want me to be, I'll be on the phone to them every single day, having a go, you know, come on, this what you're doing today and stuff like that, if that's what they want. But if they're still going to go home and ram a dairy milk down the mouth, I'm not in charge of their hands, you know.
Okay.
So
people have still got work to do then, is that what we're saying? People have still got work to do outside of these sessions.
Yeah, because again, you have to change. I'm not saying like people don't, because again, if the hypnotist crap, they're not going to give that. But I always say to the person, you have to change your physical life, you know, away from what I'm doing, so you can do stuff. If you're going to go, you know, if you're going to bash your head off the same brick wall, nothing's going to change. So when I had my sessions, I knew my job was the biggest thing. So I sold my house.
Right.
So I quit the job. I would never expect a client of mine to do something I wasn't prepared to do. And I've done some drastic things in my life to make the changes needed to make. I sold my house to pay my ex-wife her share of the money. I started this business up. I quit my job, moved back in with my mum, and just started my life all over again. Because that's what was needed to have done, and I'm blooming glad I did it. Even when the house sale didn't go to plan, and then I was like, I'd maxed out my credit cards, I'd use my savings, I'd use my mum's savings. There was weeks when I had to get the dogs food and I didn't go shopping for the week. And people were saying to me, well, if I don't just get a part-time job or something, I was like, no, I'm going to make this work. And I pushed and I pushed, and the house money come in, which was great, but I didn't see that money. I'd shut that money out because I still knew I needed to be hungry for this. And if I had that money, it was like I'd get lazy.
Right.
I sort of did for a bit, and then I've had to pick back up. So you have to make the changes in your personal life and in your physical life with this new mentality. You've got to go and do it. But like I say, if you end up with a crap therapist, a crap hypnotist, then that's going to be a bit more difficult to do.
Okay. Those like physical changes that people have to make, are people kind of aware that that's the change when they leave, or do they have to kind of figure that out?
Yeah, they are when they come to me, because I say to them, you have to change. You have to make changes. The biggest one is people that come to me for depression is because they're surrounded by people like it, because we all like to be around our own kind of people. Right. Well, when you're now out of that, it's easier for them other people to bring you back down to their level than it is for them to come up to yours. And I'll say to people, you've got to make a decision. You're now this other person. Do you still want that circle of friends? I have people come to me who realise it's their partner that's the problem. Well, your choice is now. Do you work it out, stay with them, and do that what you want to do, or leave? I can't tell people what to do. They just come up with their solutions, and then they have to go and do it. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. But people don't see it until they have the sessions with me, and then they'll open their eyes and go, that's what I need to do. I had one person who she was a trans woman, and it turned out it actually came to me because she wanted a more feminine voice. And again, we've got nothing to do with the voice. But it actually all stemmed from a letter that was sent to her by her brother-in-law with a lot of hurtful, nasty things that really affected the mind. Like, so we did some work there, and went home, burnt the letter. Letter's no longer part of the life. We move on. We did a bit in the session where I got her to write down the words in a letter that was most hurtful, and I said, screw it up because I don't want to see it. I screwed it up, and I said, right, now stick it in the bin. Put it in the bin. Then because she's done that and attached them words to the paper and threw it away, the mind now has got rid of it. We can either do that just purely in hypnosis, or we'll do it as a physical thing after. She went home, read the letter one last time, and set fire to it.
Right. So what would you say?
And then at the end, sorry.
No, go carry on.
And then at the end, they even turned around and said, "Her voice sounds different."
Oh,
Didn't
really?
do anything with the voice. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
That was just her perception of the voice. She did have quite a soft voice anyway. She said you got a manly voice, and it was. But other people had said it was soft and that. And when we'd finished, like I said, I didn't even do anything with the voice. It was just the perception had changed because the brain needs something to blame. The brain needs an excuse. It was the voice. That was the excuse. The actual problem was the letter and the nastiness in the letter.
Yeah. So what would you say is the most benefit people can have in terms of wellness and resilience from having hypnosis?
Well, to me, it saved my life. I won't be here today without it. Some people just like a place just to come and just switch off, sort of thing. If everything's just too hectic, because you can't do anything when you're in my chair other than what I'm guiding you through, what I'm telling you, because that's what hypnosis is. Just focus. You focus on my voice, and I just go with it, and I get some information from you that things you like doing or whatever while we talk, and then I use that back to you during the session, so it resonates with you, because it's about the person. But yeah, like I say, I won't be here today without it. I won't be as confident as I am, and I've just hopefully waiting for them to send me some dates. Got a thing booking for my first show.
Oh, fantastic!
So I'm doing a hypnosis show, comedy show. I'll be getting into that as well.
And so would you say that you would, I don't know, you personally, would you have to keep going to get some more hypnosis to continue and maintain this level of confidence, or is it just?
It just depends on the person. So I say, as soon as they walk out of my room, the crap of life starts filling up the bucket again. It could be another 10, 20, 50 years maybe. But then somebody could, next week have a car crash and get PTSD from that. So then they'll have to, get sorted. It could be. That just depends on the person. But I know that if I didn't leave my job, I'd have gone straight back to where I was within a matter of months, because that's how stressful, that's how bad it was on your mental health. It had to change. And like I say, even when I couldn't even feed myself, I had no money, I was happy because I weren't there. I weren't there having that constant barrage of crap that they used to give you. But you do it. It's just unfortunate there is a lot of rubbish therapists and that out there. But again, sometimes it's not their fault. They get sold these courses, and they genuinely do want to go out and help. From what you describe, where you went, he does sound a bit egotistical. I will help you in blah blah sessions. I'll never. If someone says to me, how many sessions will I need? I'll say to them, most of my clients have done 2 to 4 sessions. I do recommend someone has a minimum of 2 sessions with me. That's what I say.
So the person I went to was very sure that they never had a failure ever. It always works. So, and then I came away thinking, it's me. There's something so terribly wrong with me that we couldn't fix it. Maybe for yours actually, but maybe thinking about what you've said, maybe there was an action that I needed to take and I didn't. Possibly.
But you should have found out what action was. If you then chose not to take that action, that's your choice. But if you don't know what the action was, you can't be blamed for that. He should have done his job better.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to
see. If you came to me, I get you your result. If I know most people have done with me 2 to 4 sessions. If you're on your 4th session and you've not got, well, something's not right, something needs this and so, and again, that could be the client, like, resisting. But again, I'll know when they're resisting and I'll just say, why are you resisting? You've come here for me to help you, Yeah.
What does resistance look like then from a client?
If they're not, so with hypnosis, I need somebody to comply. I need compliance. And if they do everything that I tell them to do in the process, they'll make the changes. If they're not going to do it, tells me they don't want to change. If they don't want to change, that's their choice. We have a choice to suffer. We have a choice to get better. They've come to me because they've made the choice they want to get better. Now, I will get them a result. I've got, I used to do it where I just throw everything in one go, and because I wanted that really quick thing. I wanted someone in there. I wanted to boast, talk, and get someone out of depression in 10 minutes. Blah blah blah. But it don't work like that. It can sometimes. I have had people that have just been in once, come back out, done. But I like to, just like, give them an experience. So I like them to. I'll do the one bit, and then I'll say, I'll check up on them and say, how are you feeling? If they say, oh great, this, then I'll do something else on the next session. But eventually we will get where you want to be. Whether that's the 2nd session, 3rd, 4th. But a lot of it is done very, very quick and very pleasantly, because all the older people want to go to therapy sessions and be miserable about it. I do not know. And that's because they're made to talk about the problem. If you talk about the problem, you're reliving it. If you're reliving it, you're feeling the emotions.
It is really interesting, isn't it? Because there's that other school of thought that tells you, actually, if you don't feel it, and if you don't go into that kind of physical feeling in your body and work through it, then you can't heal.
Did I do when we spoke last time, did I do the lemon test with you?
Well, I don't, no, don't think so.
Right. This is to show then that the mind, how the mind works. So if you just put your hand out in front of you, flat out in front, and just close your eyes. Just want you to imagine in the palm of your hand now is a wedge of lemon. Just imagine there's a wedge of lemon in your hand now. Just bring that bit of lemon up closer to your nose and just start to smell it. Start to smell that lemon. There we go. Really smell that lemon. You know now that when you taste it, when you put your tongue on that lemon now, it's just going to taste sour, and bitter, and sharp. Just open your eyes. Now, I was looking for a slight change in the face, which you sort of did when you got to there. It was only slight, but it was there, which is enough for me to know what I need to know.
Yeah.
When you was just doing that, did you feel the saliva in your mouth build up and anything like that?
I kind of felt a resistance to not wanting to smell it.
I was hoping you were going to turn around and go, actually, I love lemons, and I can just I eat them like apples. That happens sometimes. Well, okay, we'll change it then. But that's because you had that image of that lemon. Your brain pictures that. It knows it's sour. It knows it's tangy. It knows in that. So it now makes your body do what it needs to do, ready for you to taste this lemon, even though there's nothing there. So yeah, when I do the allergy removal stuff, I can get people to have a mild reaction just by talking to them.
Okay.
Because of the brain, I get them to actually visualize it. And that's what happens if people go to counselling. They're sitting there talking about this horrible thing that's happened to them. They'll do this. They'll zone out, so they're sort of going to hypnosis. They'll zone out as they're talking about this horrible thing, getting angry, getting upset, and then you've got this person next to them going, "How did that make you feel? How do you think it made them bloody feel?" You can see them crying.
Yeah.
I've had so many people that have been on the system, especially after CBT and that, and come to me, and I've had to put them right for that before we've even started the actual problem.
Right. So hypnosis completely doesn't even think that you have to feel it to move on.
I don't. And I have people. I've had women who've come to me from trauma, and bearing in mind, a lot of trauma that the women who come to me have been caused by men, and they've sat in my office, and I've done what I do. They haven't had to. Hang on, let me just get rid of the dog. I haven't had to talk about it because I don't want to talk about it. I've just done what I do. At the end, they've told me what's happened. They've told me this horrible, horrible story, and they're actually laughing because there's no emotion linked to it now. It's great. It's a great feeling to get somebody to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so tell people where they can find out more about you.
You can go on my website, mindsetSFT.com. I'm on YouTube, which you'll get all my links on my website, and Facebook. My links on my website as well. You can call me on 07919 865 174 and email me at chris@mindsetsft.com. For some reason, I've just got this nagging voice. Yes, I did give you the right number. There we go.
Some poor person is soon going to be random. Okay, so last question then, Chris, before we wrap up, which is, can you please identify a strength or a value or a character trait that you use to promote your own wellness?
I think having that mental resilience that I now have for myself, and telling my story to people so they can get on my level sort of thing and understand what it was like from someone that's been rock bottom and has got through it, and that they can get through it. I can give them all the scientific jargon if they want that, but a lot of people just like to know, oh, he's felt what I feel. No, he doesn't, so I can talk to him. We're having that resilience now, and again, I know that if I start to get stressed out a lot or start to feel down and whatever, I just get one of my hypnotist friends, stick me in and give me a clear out. I'd love that, for it to be just a run-of-the-mill thing, You have back pain, you go and see someone who specialises in your spine and stuff like that, and the muscles in the back. You have foot pain, you get to someone that deals with your feet. Why do we neglect our minds? Because our brain is everything, our mind is everything. Nothing exists outside the brain. Pain is caused by the brain. Allergies are caused by the brain. Everything's caused by the brain. So why do we let it get to the point? So, but depression and anxiety is actually a good thing. We need it to keep us alive, but we don't change things. So it just gets worse and worse and worse till eventually your brain goes, well, you've ignored me, now you're going to listen. and we'll do something, whether it's a stroke or skin problems. It will stop you eventually if you're not changing what's doing. So it's about know when to change, know what to change, and change it, because it's never actually as bad as when we're thinking about it before we do it.
Thank you so much for sharing your story in the podcast.
Thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Great. And we'll drop some links to your website below in the comments.
Lovely. Thank you again.
Thank you.